Activists on both sides of the debate want measures to be taken, but the head of the NRA, William LaPierre, feels that laws we already have should first be better policed. I'm here at the Supreme Court. Supreme Court justices will hear arguments about the Defense of Marriage Act. Supporters of same-sex marriage hope DOMA will be struck down and allow same-sex couples to receive federal benefits. A friendly playground during the day was a nightmare for a 22-year-old woman. Sales show that people are interested in buying these cars. And with incentives to several actors, infrastructure will grow even more across the country. Already, the response to Union J Street is positive. A spokesman for Sodexo said foot traffic increased by 20% in just the first week. A Senate panel held a hearing with former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. She delivered a message about how to prevent gun violence.
Too many children are dying. Too many children. We must do something.
Giffords' husband, Mark Kelly, was also at the hearing. He's asking Congress to pass laws that would require background checks across the board.
My wife would not be sitting in this seat. She would not have been sitting here today if we had stronger background checks.
Kelly also wants to ban military-style assault weapons and gun magazines with more than 10 rounds. Activists on both sides of the debate want measures to be taken, but the head of the NRA, William LaPierre, feels that laws we already have should first be better policed.
Talking about drug dealers with guns, gangs with guns, and felons with guns. They're simply not being enforced.
LaPierre rejects most new gun control proposals. He wants to improve access to mental health care and increase armed guards at schools. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California suggested that raises questions about whether we need to have armed guards in other public places.
We can't have a totally armed society.
Jeffrey Davis's brother was shot and killed in New York City Hall. He said gun reform can happen, but it will take time.
It's going to be a fight, it's going to be a fight, it's going to be a fight. But we've got to keep pressing and we've got to keep pushing forward.
Congress now looks for common ground to perhaps pass new gun legislation. In Washington, I'm Morgan Weil. Beyond dominating sidewalks and streets during lunchtime, DC food trucks are working their way into the Twitterverse, an experience DC residents have been calling the roaming food court. People from everywhere from college campuses to K Street business districts can be seen on their smartphones or checking their computer for updates on their favorite food trucks.
I mean, I'll follow them on Twitter or a map. But you know, I'm a busy librarian, so I don't have a lot of time to go out of my way to find a food truck.
Well, Facebook I use as more like networking with my friends, and then Twitter I use for like various sources. But the main two things I use it for are like news, catching up with news, and tracking food trucks.
Che Riddell, president of DC Food Truck Association, feels that social media is an important tool in maintaining clientele.
Social media is huge. It's hugely important for our industry. Obviously, it's the way we communicate with our customers, but more importantly, it's the way we listen to our customers.
Melissa Mapes, a freelance social media manager, sees an important relationship forming between social media and business.
There is almost social economics in a way where there is an actual dollar value in a sense to these social interactions online, and a lot of businesses have been trying to capitalize on that.
Since social media has changed how businesses reach out to customers, businesses will have to adapt their model to reflect a changing medium. Riddell, who works closely with the aggregator Food Truck Fiesta, feels that food trucks that don't use social media are doing themselves a disservice. Food Truck Fiesta even has a shame list, calling out those trucks that don't use it.
I think a lot of them do. I think they focus on it a lot more than I do. It's not something I want to focus on our product. That's my number one concern, but I think it's just a function of who you are.
I don't think so. I think social media has been so crucial to that movement. I don't really think that there's anything else out there that can quite do what social media is.
In Washington, I'm Morgan Weil. After a late-night shift, a woman returned to her home during the late-night hours of the night with a sense of relief. In a few moments, she would be home safe and sound.
Little did she know that a man in his 20s would be wandering the Only Oaks townhouse neighborhood looking for a target. Grabbed by the neck, the victim was dragged 50 feet from her car and sexually assaulted.
A friendly playground during the day was a nightmare for a 22-year-old woman.
About 10 after 1 this morning, 4th District officers responded to a call on Wagon Wheel Court in Olney for a rape that had just occurred. When they arrived, they met with the victim. She related to police that she was parking her car, exiting her vehicle, and was accosted by a suspect.
People on Wagon Wheel Court are now tormented, finding it hard to sleep at night.
I've always considered this a safe community, but like any community, there are certain people you would rather not be here. Have never seen or had anxiety about anything of this nature, though, so we're very concerned.
I came home late myself, so, that's scary.
Of course, it's absolutely terrifying. This is normally such a quiet community, and there's just a lot of families and children, and it's just really hits close to home. It's really scary.
With tragedy comes awareness. People who like to live here will not only be more alert of their surroundings, but will be watching out more for themselves as for their neighbors. In Washington, I'm Morgan Weil.